Hello there, and welcome to the 30th episode of Strategic Zoomcast. This one isn't going to be a game, it's going to be a guide on how to accomplish strategic zoom mode for yourself in game. For Company of Heroes 2, that's going to be the first part. Let me just very quickly go through it with you. Firstly, go to the launch options, so right click, properties, set launch options, and then it's -dev. That allows dev mode in game and allows you to bring up the console commands, so control, shift, apostrophe. You're then going to want to find the notepad file. There's a link in the description of the YouTube video, or the code itself, and you're going to want to control C the code and then control V it into the console commands, because a little bit of it capitalization, that's tricky to write out. Then once you've pressed enter, you press control shift apostrophe again, and you can now zoom out fully. It's a really good mode for casting. I've cast 29 episodes of footage now, and I've also started casting a Company of Heroes 1 tournament recently, and it works absolutely beautifully. The things to keep in mind though, you've got this here, this line, that is your draw distance line, so to be honest, you're always going to have that in the camera footage a little bit if you want to zoom out, but it does make it worthwhile. So this is default camera. This is about where you want to be. To be honest, about there. I always have it about here, just so I can see a bit more, see what's going on a little bit better. Then you can give strategic overviews in the mid to late game if there's ever a lull in activity. It's always best to select the forces you want to look at. He's both in base at the moment, so there isn't exactly much to look at there. And then double backspace to zoom back in, and it does become a good mode. I also recommend using a lot of middle mouse button to move around the camera if you are using this mode to cast. Now then, you will notice on this map there's a little bit of ambient fog. You can get rid of this. If you notice in the notepad file, there are some settings, atmospheric settings that remove it. So this, for example, is ardenspring.apps. Open console, paste it in, and there you go. You can see everything all of a sudden. It's beautiful. Now, one thing to be aware of, there are about 10 episodes of Strategic Zoomcast that I've had to bin because I got sync errors, unfortunately. So if it goes beyond about 40-50 minutes and it's on certain maps like Longraskaya, you can get sync errors if you're using these atmospheric settings, so keep away from them. But yeah, that's Company Heroes 2. I'm going to be bringing you the Company Heroes 1 bit next. Okay, so this is the Company Heroes 1 portion of the Strategic Zoomcast guide, and I've got something very, very strange to point out, and that is that unfortunately it works in automatch, and this is just bizarre. It really is. You can play using the Strategic Zoomcast. It is a cheat. I have asked, told Relic this, or Kyle, the community manager, and he said, yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. Because if you think about it, it does, remove draw distance and this, and it's only a one-line code, man. That's all it is, just a one-line code added to the console commands that are freely available in game. So whether that's a cheat or not, God, I've got to stop playing. Whether that's a cheat or not is for you to decide. Let me explain why it would be actually good. So you're on Longraskaya, or this map in fact, you've got your MGs set up, you can zoom out, notice something happening here earlier. It really helps, and the way I play with using spacebound to middle mouse, it just helps so much, man. I think this is going to make the game more enjoyable to play. So it's a one-line code, and if you spread the word that this is possible, I suppose it won't be considered cheating that much, I guess, because everybody can do it. But it definitely isn't allowed in the current 1 versus 1 tournament that's going on, so don't try it there. But yeah, it's absolutely crazy, isn't it? I mean, you can just use TAC map all the same. TAC map's probably better than strategic zoom mode, to be honest. It's nothing that TAC map doesn't give you at all. Zooming out, it's pretty for casting purposes, but I'm not sure it's viable for playing purposes, especially because I'm not that great of a player. But yeah, so everything that was applicable to the Code 2 part of this guide is massively applicable to the Code 1 side. But there's stuff in addition to that, in that you can you don't need the dev mode, and you can go into automatch and go into custom games and use it. But I would say don't use it in the current tournament, because the screenshotter and the Twitch will show you're not at the right camera angle. So yeah, thank you for watching this guide, and bloody hell, you can zoom out in Company Heroes competitive. Who would have thought it?